Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Friday the 13th, August. So this is total here, and this is obviously the total market in trillions of dollars. You probably know that already. So yeah, just to have a look at the bigger picture now. With this market and Ethereum and Bitcoin, they've all reached their box here in one way or another. Bitcoin, the lower levels, the 50%, and the top is the 61.8%. Bitcoin's hit the 50%. Ethereum's a little bit like total here. So in this case, we could look at this in different ways. Counting this down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Didn't quite make a low, but that's okay. As long as we get 5 waves in that move, that's okay. Or we could even place this over here and put this A wave here and this B wave here. But the problem with that, I found it very difficult to get 5 waves out of this move here, to be honest. You can sort of force it, but I was sort of working it this way here. So obviously we've got a reaction from the box, and we expected that to occur. I'm not sure on the news, maybe something to do with the infrastructure bill or something, but you know, we expect it, you know, the bids to be hit there, so to speak, profit taking, you know, at this particular level, and, you know, the supply is over here. So that's total, just to have a bit of a squizzy at that. It's the same thing with Ethereum here as well. So it's a bit closer to it, 61.8%. I just better check that. I haven't checked that for ages, so I've been a little bit more focused on Bitcoin. But yeah, that's pretty good there. So, you know, we can expect that resistance at that point. Now, will it turn bearish from this point? We need to gather more information, basically. And I sort of want to focus on Bitcoin today. And also with Bitcoin, I want to focus on the positive side and the negative side. So the positive side being the bullish count. That's with wave 4 being in the low here, and looking at this, it's always been a bit of a long shot with wave 3 here, an A wave and a B wave, and 5 waves down for the C wave here. And so it's a bit of a long shot. This wave 1 is also a long shot, with wave 2 here as a long shot. But anyway, it was just sort of good to see. My thing always has been that if we got a classic trading levels pattern on top of the 50 here, then I would look at being bullish. So we would still need to have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC, and then getting support over here. So, and then we'd also look at the wave structure up to this particular point here as well from that. So yeah, that's, you know, am I bearish? Am I bullish? Well, I needed evidence, and this is my way of gaining evidence at this 50,000, and we're not there yet for that. We can see that Bitcoin has just touched on the 50,000 here, like pretty much spot on. So we could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here for the positive side of things. So as I mentioned the other day, well, it wouldn't really turn sort of bearish unless the 40,000 had been breached. But obviously traders, you know, there's hodlers and there's traders, and when we talk about traders, there's trend traders and there's intraday traders and so on and so on. So it's pretty difficult to you know, accommodate all of them in a video, so to speak. So we all need to manage our own initial risk and general exposure as well. So from this wave 2 low here to this move up through here, we could look at this coming back to the 50-60% retracement level, which will be 41,000, 42,000 in that space, if that was going to be the case. The top here for Ethereum and Bitcoin hasn't finished that well. In fact, I'll just go back to Ethereum, if you don't mind, for a moment, just to show something interesting, and that way we can have a look at it with Bitcoin as well. And it's just on the hourly chart here. So yeah, so for the hourly chart here, I mean, what I find sort of interesting, I guess, is maybe we could go that way. Yeah, maybe we could do that way. It was just the way that this finished off here, because from the low here, we can definitely count 5 waves up here. And then we could look at this correction in any way that you wanted to look at it. And then we had well, let's just call this 5 waves up through here, but it could also be an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave. So it could be a B wave. So, it just hasn't finished off very nicely. I mean, maybe I could rearrange things like, where's my dragging tool? I could probably put this over here and squash that in there, put the B wave here, put this wave 3 to here, make that the wave 4 there, and make that the top there. Such, but it still doesn't give me I suppose it does give me 5 waves here, but I suppose 1 and A, B, C for 2 here, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's okay like that, I guess. But yeah, you can see that I'm sort of squashing it in. It hasn't really finished off nicely, and Bitcoin's a bit the same as well. We can get that, we can, squeeze 5 waves in there. So yeah, we just need to give it a little bit more time, I guess, to see how it plays out. I mean, it does look a bit impulsive coming down through here. Might as well just talk about this for a sec while we're here. So we'd have to look at that as 1 and 2 in here. As 1 and 2 in here. I have to go into the tick chart to sort this out, but this wave, this structure here is overlapping this structure, so we'd have to look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, probably 3, 4, 5 here for this. So we don't have the full 5 waves down here just yet for that. If we do get that, then that will be a little bit important, and we'll look at that perhaps over the weekend, So I'll do something over the weekend and we'll sort of drill into this, and also Bitcoin as well. So coming back to Bitcoin here, we're going to have a look at the positive side first, and then we'll have a look at the negative side, okay? But as I've always maintained, I don't know which is the right count, and if I don't know, I'm better off saying I don't know, and that way we can look for some sort of other evidence. You might have another Elliott count from somebody else that's got more confidence than me. Well, that's fantastic, but for me, I would need to see a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 61.8%, which is close enough to the 50, and the 5 is the second strongest number. So I need the market to prove to me that it's strong. I know also too that when we get here, we were all going to panic anyway, because we'd see it get sold off, and the news would fit it, and it would sold off, and all the bears would come in, and it's all bearish now from here on in, and they could be right, and the bulls could be right, but I just don't know at this particular point in time. So so from here, we will go to the intraday here to look at this here. So yeah, so slightly different count here. We've got wave 2 here from the low. We've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here. It's kind of interesting here as well, I guess, is that, Bitcoin made this low here where Ethereum and the other crypto indexes haven't done that as such. So I was just looking at this here as wave 1 here with an A and a B and the C coming down here. There might be one more little move down into this. So if you're going to go along here, you would you'd need the 45,000 as a nice solid support, and you just need to watch out for head and shoulders in that case too. So this shoulder over here, so to speak. So yeah, let's just assume that there's one more little move down here, and then there's some sort of corrective move or whatever it may be, bullish move up here, doesn't really matter, but you want that first high above the level. you want to find the 61.8% from here to wherever the low is, and then make sure that, just draw a line on the 61.8% and make sure that you got a classic trading levels pattern tested support on that particular price point, and then move up from that point. So in a way, that's the bullish count, with 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and taking us higher at that point. And the bearish count that we need to look at as well. So we can go to, this is the most common count that you'll see all around the place, of course. There's no real other way to count it as being bearish, I don't think. So just from the top here, looking at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 that we've looked at, this can be counted in two ways, and we'll look at both of those. This is how I've been doing it, with an A and a B and a C for the A wave, a B wave and a C wave here for that. That's right on the 50%, so we can expect it to react from that point there. I have to say though, if I can just grab the volume here for a moment, it's not really letting me go in here. We're not seeing a lot of selling going on based on this volume, but we'd really need to have a look at on-chain analysis for that. But this move down through here is on, each bar is on a lower volume bar. So this is a 2-day chart, by the way. So it's 2 days, not 1 day. Not that that's a here nor there, but yeah, obviously the stochastics are at a bit of a tipping point there as well, so we need to be, so it's possible that that can turn at that particular point in time. So, you know, if I mean, it would be nice to know, because, you know, even as if this move was going to come down, then we would be looking for a move down. Well, we'd have to take out the low here because it hasn't even come back to the 61.8%. So it'd have to come down to the 20,000, 18,000 or something like that. So, you know, if you had 5 coins here and you sold here, then you could buy 10 coins down here, couldn't you? I mean, that would make sense. But, you know, will it go down there, and what's the risk, and will it push back up here, and then you end up losing, you know, quite a few $1,000s in this and then getting back in. So there's all those sorts of things to consider. It's a bit tricky for new traders or even advanced traders to navigate these sorts of things. But based on this here, this top here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, then and you know, this never really presented a nice impulse wave here as such. So yeah, as I mentioned when this started, this is more like a corrective pattern here. We could squeeze a positive pattern out of it. Yeah, so that's sort of where we are really. We just let's cruise in from here, and also have a look at another bearish, the other obvious bearish count from here as well. So yeah, this just this is how I've had it here. That's the 50%, so it's right on the 50% here for this. So from this leg here up to here, back to here, I mean, really would need to see, you know, technically you would need this low taken out to create the bearish market, but we can use 40,000 to do that. I also normally use 42,000 to turn bearish. So when we talk about 40,000, we'd have 1, 2, and 3 here as minor group 1. So when 42 became the resistance, the retested resistance, then would turn bearish from that point. But yes, we can certainly just drop that down onto, well, you have to drop it onto that high there, of course, and that would go there, and that would be it. And we've reached 50%. Ethereum has been closer to the 62% as such. We need to see how that plays out, and you know, we also need to see for being bearish, which we'll look at tomorrow. I'll do a video over the weekend, but we want to see a clear 5-wave structure down here for this, and then if we get a 3-wave structure here, so even if you you know, you want to get out, then, you know, looking for that first 5 waves down and waiting for the ABC to come back, then that would be your exit point at that point, you know, because we'd be coming down from that point, and that would be the short trade. So to go short, we'd need that impulse wave to the 50 or 60% retracement level in here to help confirm that, you know. So we don't want to panic in the first little move coming off the 50%, because we'd expect that anyway, do you know? The other count for this to the upside here, as I've got this as the A, the B, and the C here, and the A wave and the B wave and the C wave. Yeah, the B wave is a bit simplistic here, so it's a bit tricky to get 5 waves up here going the other way. So let me just, so the other way to count this up here would be like this on the bearish side, having the A wave here with an ABC for the A wave here, the B wave here, and then looking at this as 1 and 2 in here, and then that as 3 and 4 here, pulling back roughly to the 38.2 2%, 40%, probably a tad more, but to the wave 4, one lesser degree as well. And then making that 5 waves up through here as well. So having 5 waves up for the wave C here for B. So yeah, not very proportionate in terms of the structures, but yeah, it's okay. If we take wave 2 low from here somewhere and go to wave 4 here, top of wave 3, for example, was pulled down closer to 50% rather than 40%. Not a big deal, but you know, it's within its range. It's all okay at that particular point. So as a, you know, we could probably go for a wave B also too, even if this market pushed up higher, came down here and pushed up higher, we could still have this we wouldn't be, if we took this top out here, we wouldn't be out of the B wave situation at that point yet either. So there's a long way to go. I suggest not panic, just keep your shirt on, and yeah, but for trend traders, it is interesting, you know, because once we can confirm, or if we can confirm that we're bearish here, then it's probably worthwhile, you know, selling part of your coins, so to speak, to pull back into 20,000, because that's where we would come to, you know, based on this 5 wave structure here. We would need something of the same size here over here, you know. I don't know if it's 25,000 or 15,000, you know, we just got to count the waves, that's all. But that's where it would be at that point. But I don't have enough evidence to say that, well, we can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could look at it the other way that I mentioned as well, and, you know, call that top in play here for that. Just go further into the intraday here for a moment. So yeah, this is my A wave and B wave here, and looking at sort of forcing this really to be that top there. So there we have it, really. So I'll wait for the next session, right? And we'll get a bit more information here. Because I can count that down as corrective or impulsive, so it's kind of a little bit sort of pointless at this stage, but as soon as I know, I'll give it some thought over the next session, and I'll send an email out. I mean, I'll send a chart video out rather. But basically, what we want to see is a clear 5 wave structure to the downside as close as we can to this 50-60%. If that's the case, then we need to observe the rally at that point, because we would get a rally and then we would come down again for that. If we get 5 waves here, then we'll get 3 here, and then we'll get another 5. So if it comes down to this point, then, you know, well, as I say, if from that, this box here is the 50-60% retracement level, so we can just move that across over here somewhere a bit more realistic. And yeah, so if we get 5 waves down here, I'll need to put some work into that. If we get that, I'll let you know, because then we know that we're going to get that and we're going to get that, you know. So that will give you a chance to you know, get out around the 45,000, 44,000 if you wanted to, and you know, double your bitcoins down the bottom. So like I said, if you've got 5 of them, because if we get 5 waves there, then we're going to get 5 there, then there's a good chance that we're going to get overlapping wave structures and so on here. I mean, the other point here, the next level down would be taking that low here and that high here and looking down at this point here. So we would also need to track that as well. So in this space, because we could look at all of this here, just shooting the breeze now, we could squeeze 5 waves out of that for wave 1 and come back here for, well, this ABC that I'm talking about here. That's 5 waves, 3 waves and 5 waves. That could just be an ABC to the 50% area here, and then push up again. So we would need to manage that trade, but we would go into that short trade situation here, looking to go all the way down into, you know, 20,000 if that's the case. So anyway, a little bit to think about, but I don't think that we just don't need to sort of do anything right now. Do you know? That's what we can make our minds up over the weekend, and let's just see if we get that 5 waves down here first. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I just don't want, I'm not going to panic, and there's no point in it. There's no value in it. We just need to take the next logical step. And for me, that would be to see, if we get an impulse wave down to the 50, 60%, down to 42,000. If we can count 5 waves down, then we'll get a 3-wave move, and we'll know if we get 5 waves here, that means that we've got a good chance of coming down to the 38,000 at that point. So having those 5 waves there, then you've got time to make your decision in that corrective rally area here. Okay, so I'll keep you updated on this particular move through here. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.